In the hallways of the Ubisoft booth, we've met up with Jason, narrative director on Far Cry 3. We got the logo somewhere here. So tell me, we managed to miss almost everything about Far Cry 3 so far. We've been incredibly busy, probably through the press conference, etc., etc. Yeah. Obviously, we're back in the tropics.
Yes, that's right. We are, and I prefer to think of it not as going back to the tropics. Far Cry has always been about being in a place where you can't pick up the phone and call 911, right? If you pick up the phone, it's going to be like, nobody's there, right? And it turns out that Tropical Island is a perfect place for a Far Cry game. It's a reason that it was there for the first game, right? The African setting in the second game was a fantastic choice. We can return to those kinds of ideas. But I think if we did Far Cry 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe like half of them would be set on a tropical island because it's just perfect. So we wanted to go back there. Also, it's gorgeous. And it's a great place for us to work out our water technology, the lighting, all that stuff. So it's great. It's great for us on a lot of different levels.
So how did we end up on a tropical island again?
As Jason Brody, he was on a boat. Without going into too many details, I can tell you he was on a boat, then something really bad has happened to his boat. He didn't want to be on this particular island, and he's got to find a way off of it. But then he gets involved in sort of the local, shall we say, conflicts, and sort of drawn into the insanity that is present in these kinds of locations. You know, if you're a long way from the long arm of the law, and you don't have any consequences for your actions, 10, 20 years go by, you go a little crazy. So this island is full of these strong characters that are going to be bringing you a different kind of insanity, right? I think when you see it, you're going to meet a character named Voss, who is one of the early. He's a warlord who is causing you a lot of trouble in the early part of the game. I hope he sends a chill down your spine, because that is our goal, is to really hit the performance there.
So what we had in Far Cry 2 is the African setting, kind of a, I'm not going to say political, but we had that kind of thing with the locals being oppressed and driven out by these warlords. Is that something you're exploring at all in this, or is this more kind of a lost island where well, knives gets blooded?
Yeah. So it's we are very inspired by Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 1 both. I think what Far Cry 2 did that I think it was amazing was that from the moment you started playing that game, you knew it was important. You knew there was something amazing happening here. They were talking about a high-level sort of global conflict and economic policy and revolution and these very weighty topics. We want to have the same kind of effect, right? But we want to bring that down to a personal level. We want to introduce you to individual people who are crazy. If Far Cry 2 was about crazy politics, Far Cry 3 is about crazy people.
Far Cry 2 its reception was a bit so-so. It went up and down. Some people mixed is a good politically correct word. Yeah, well, let's just say some people loved it, but some people really hated it.
Yes, exactly.
What have you learned from Far Cry 2?
So there was a lot to be inspired by. It was a fantastic game, and the technology, we're using the same technology. The Junia engine has come a long way, so that open world experience fits really well with Far Cry. It's fantastic. We want to carry that forward, but we want to also give the player a strong sense of guidance so they know where they're going. We want to provide them sort of modern design choices in terms of giving them shortcuts and ways to quickly go back and forth, and making sure that the spawning behavior is the way that you expected, and that AI detection is. I mean, there's little pieces that we felt could be improved, right? And I think that the fans pretty unanimously feel the same way. That said, fundamentally, it was a very, very powerful experience, and we want to continue to carry that forward. So what we learned is you actually can make a game that touches the human heart, right? That actually makes a connection with it, right? And it's a lot of work, and it's really hard, right? So you got to make sure to get the details just right, and we intend to do that.
Yeah, you're the narrated director of Far Cry 3, and looking at an open world exploration. How do you create at the same time a focused narrative to a game that's supposedly open?
It's a challenge. So the technique that we're using is we're going to place our characters in the world, right, and then we're going to invite the player to go there, right. So you're going to have the characters are going to be waiting for you to arrive, right. They have you can go and talk to them, and the story will be delivered in those moments. There's moments where we know where the player is, and the player's decided to come to our checkpoint. The player's decided to come to our choke point, because choke points is where narrative is given. And we make those choke points brief, very interesting, right? Very entertaining, right? Hopefully, when you see the character, you'll agree. And then we set the player free. We say, and now you're on your mission, and you do as you like, right? So you're not going to experience any corridor shooting in Far Cry 3.
When do you hope to have it finished and have it out on the market?
The game is out in 2012, and that's all the information I've been given. They don't trust me with the actual dates. Really. I'm a creative. They don't even listen to me when I talk about dates.
Call me when you have the dates.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you'll call me.
Straight away. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.